we'll just move on to the idea of, for a few minutes, just trying to understand what is actually going on. Why can't we pay attention as much as we'd like? What is it that's causing us to be the way we are? Well, they say there's two different modes of mind. One is a doing mode and one is a being mode. Sometimes there's, there's three types of mind. There's doing mind, what we call driven doing mind, and being mind. So doing mind is a really useful thing when applied to learning to type or learning to drive, all of the things that you do, learning to walk. Do you see? And we are doing things in an objective way. But as soon as we become involved in what we're doing it in a subjective way. I want to achieve this. Do you see? That's driven doing mind. Ordinary doing mind is like, I have a meeting. I need to be there at 2 o'clock. So I get into the car and I'm driving. Then there's roadworks. And then you go, oh, there's roadworks. Okay, let's see if we can, get round this. And then, once you've got your iPhone out and checked it all out, and you realize there's no way around this, then you just go, all right then, just have to sit. Going to be late, but that's just how it is. So when you get there, you have this meeting, you say, I'm really sorry, there was roadworks, all this kind of stuff. And then you may, think, maybe I should check before I go, that there's a clear way to go to this place. So that's a helpful way of going about things. It doesn't sort of do your head in, So there's unhelpful doing. So we could be doing the same task, but it's driven by us trying to get there. Do you see? That's called driven doing, When you're looking there, not paying attention to this, you're looking there and trying to get there, and then all of a sudden the traffic jam becomes a real pain, And then you start going, I wonder what they're going to think of me because I'm late, You start sort of adding levels of stuff to it, You get stuck in the traffic jam, and you go, oh no, why didn't I think of this, God, like this, and giving yourself a real hard time, And we'll never get, I'm going to lose all this stuff, Do you know what I'm saying? You get all worked up about it. You recognize what I'm talking about, don't you? Yeah. Look at that, she's even moved on a step further. So what happens is, you can't kind of function properly because you're so wrapped up in the emotion. Do you see? So that's the difference. Okay? So you have to learn to recognize what's happening inside your head, because that's what the meditation's for. It's for you to see what's going on. Like, you're aware of, if you do this breathing thing, then sometimes there's less thoughts, or sometimes there's no thoughts. Or sometimes, I can't stop thinking, but you're aware. Do you understand? You know what's going on. But the minute that you get involved in it, what happens? Hopeless. See? Hopeless. No, the minute that you get involved in it is that you've gone off on your wee story. It's not hopeless, okay? There's plenty of hope there, all right? The hope is that you'll become aware. And the minute that you become aware you're doing it, well, you just go, hey, I'm back here. You understand? So the unhelpful is when you have to, I've got to do this, and I must do that, and I should have done this, and I kind of ought to have thought of this, and I need to get here. And do you understand what I'm saying? Just, you're causing yourself anxiety, right? So what you've done is you've fired off this ancient kind of thing in your brain, Starts your brain stem. Then you've got there's like what they call like a emotional mind. There's the brain stem. There's the emotional mind. Then you've got the thinking mind. So it pings backwards and forwards from here. I've got to get there. I've got to do this. And then you start sweating, isn't it? Then you start suffering from anxiety. Do you recognize all of this? Yeah. So this is what you're trying to become aware of through the mindfulness practice. You're trying to become aware of what is going on. And once you become aware of what's going on and how you're relating to what's going on, it's the relationship you have with what's going on that's important. And you actually are able to sit and focus and become aware of what's going on in your body, for instance, or what's going on in your mind. That's called being. Because you're here right now having a direct experience of whatever it is that's going on in your mind or whatever it is that's going on in your body. So instead of thinking about the thing, you're actually aware of the thing without the story. Do you understand? It's the story that causes us the problem and the invention that goes along with it, And it brings about all these things, and it fires up this thing, It used to be tigers, but now it's meetings or roadblocks, or do you understand what I'm saying? You get all anxious, stress. Well, there's three. There's fight, flight, or freeze. So this is the ancient mind that I'm talking about, So that's what they call it. But this is how it is. That's the primitive thing, that's the emotional thing, and that's the thinking thing. And the emotional thing and the thinking thing, once this is fired off, it just keeps on going. It doesn't shut down again. There's a book called Why Zebras Don't Get Ulcers or something, right? That's what it's all about. A zebra, well, like a lion's trying to get it, and a zebra goes, But as soon as the zebra stops, that switches off. It's gone. For us, it's not, we see all kinds of things as threats now. It's having to go and meet someone and talk to them about something, or go to the doctor, or, there's just endless stuff. Like having to speak to my kid, So what we're talking about is working with everyday emotional experiences, It's really important that you understand that that this is not something removed from the way that you're living your life. All of the great meditators, all of them, understand how to meditate in their life. So if they're a holy man, they're meditating, but they're being a holy man. If they're the dustbin man, they're meditating, but they're the dustbin man. Do you understand? Yeah. So don't kind of get all this. There are some very highly developed people, like surgeons and things like this, that you just wouldn't think. Do you understand what I'm saying? In India, there are people sweeping the streets, Some of them are highly developed people, and they're quite content. Yeah. Do you understand? The wealth and all that stuff doesn't mean anything. Do you see? But we have to live the way that we do, and there are certain stresses and things, we have budgets and, all that. So what you need to kind of just sort of relate to is, usually if you're in doing mode, you're planning or you're remembering, okay? You're trying to plan something or whatever, If you're in being mode, you're here. The plan will take care of itself. We're not trying to achieve anything. We're not trying to become enlightened or anything like that. We're just trying to be here. So if you can just be here for a little time, instead of like the shopping list coming into your head, and then you going, oh yeah, I need that, and, oh yeah, black pepper, Maggie, and do you see what I'm saying, right? So what's happening is, because you're busy thinking about all this stuff, you're not actually here. You're not actually taking part in your life. You're taking part in something else. It's an imaginary thing, You're taking part in going to Tesco's and supporting their 26 billion profits that they make. Seems to be helping them a lot. But do you understand what I'm saying? So let's get rid of this myth that we're talking about like becoming a great holy person or something. We're just talking about trying to be here when we're washing the dishes, instead of thinking about what Granny said. Or do you understand what Uncle Bob's doing? Just, I'm washing this dish, and I'm going to pay attention to my hand rubbing on this dish. Do you understand? Simple. I'm sitting on this chair. I'm just going to feel my buttocks against this chair. I'm just going to be in the chair. That's what we're trying to do. And if you can get into the habit of doing that on a regular basis, then you start to develop a habit. A good habit, a positive habit. And the minute you start to do that, your brain starts to change. New pathways open up in your brain. The minute you start thinking about being kind to someone, the negative part, it begins to fall away. That part of your brain begins to disappear because you're not using it. So your brain won't have it hanging around. It's of no use. Do you understand? So this is called neuroplasticity. Plasticity. Do you see? And actually, we're not just talking about the brain, it goes all the way down to your DNA. It's possible through doing this to start changing the switches in your DNA and stuff. So we're not talking about something minor, we're talking about something that's really helpful. You see. Well, I get kind of enthusiastic about it,